A little bit ominous, I know, for a little starting track. But anyways, welcome back to Pokemon Legends Arceus. You can just call me Stent. Our main objective this time around, after clearing out all the collectibles from Cobalt Coastlands and Obsidian Fields, is... I figured that the most, I suppose, appropriate place to finish off this particular side quest would be the Crimson Mylands. So there's going to be a fair bit of stuff going on there. Ooh, Drifblim. Drifblim was a Pokemon that I always kind of liked, but never really utilized. Well, granted, if I did, I'd probably come to dislike it more due to its minimize and stockpile shenanigans. I'm fairly certain that occurred once at a VGC where just... there was this one player who had a Drifblim and just constantly spammed minimize and stockpile to just become borderline unkillable. It was... I suppose you could consider it an exercise in basically a lot of the stuff that's still wrong with the battle system in Pokemon. Mostly with regards to just how easy it is to just win fights by just playing defensively. Like, I think a good case for that actually would be Registeel post Gen 8, where obviously with its stuff like Amnesia and Iron Defense, it could just become unkillable. That has Rest, so it doesn't need to worry about statuses, and with its defense it just can sit out a lot of really hard hits, and then it gets Body Press, just completely steamroll the enemy. Fairly soon we can get rid of that. Now, our objectives here, I suppose, are mostly twofold. Obviously, getting all the collectibles, and obviously for the one side quest we need to go find a Turtwig. I reckon if we have enough time after this, we might just dedicate this to whatever side quests I might have missed before progressing the story, because obviously from here on out I remember it getting quite significantly worse, I suppose is a good way of putting it, just in terms of the overall story. I will admit I haven't really done as much grinding off screen as I would have wanted to. I've just been busy with a bunch of other things, such as setting up some more Game Boy Advance related things, though I suppose given what's happened recently, I may as well take a little time out to talk about it. Something that may be a little bit relevant to me in the new information dropped about the new Sonic and Shadow Generations game. I know it's called Sonic X Shadow Generations, but have fun typing that into Google, is all I'll say with regards to that. With regards to what we've seen so far there's been technically 4 new levels announced alongside the hub world. So that's Radical Highway, possibly mixed with Westopolis. There's the Arc, which is just... I wasn't certain as to which particular Arc level it was supposed to be representing. I think it's more just sort of a mishmash of a bunch of them. Because I have seen some additional gameplay footage from various other sources, and there is... well, firstly, the music, which I was expecting something like Final Chase, but it turned out to just be instead the music for the Arc from Shadow the Hedgehog, the flying level, which hardly anyone I think has actually played, which I suppose is nice for me because I feel that one was possibly a little underappreciated, possibly. Again, in terms of level design, it felt very much like just reusing a lot of level design tidbits from Final Rush, but I suppose at the very least with the flying it was at least different enough compared to Space Gadget, which I think there might also... I'll have to check through the gameplay of it again, but I mostly just saw the gravity shifting walls similar to the tubes in Final Chase, and even some interior areas with the same doors from all the interior arc levels like Crazy Gadgets, which I do at the least appreciate the attention to detail. Didn't think I'd actually get that slick hoof for a second there. I think I've still yet to actually catch a Gumi as well. It's one of those pseudo-legendaries which I never was the biggest fan of. But of course, it's occupying the same sort of prestige ranks as stuff like Dragonite, Tyranitar, Salamence, and of course, the former King Metagross. I still feel so bad for Metagross in hindsight. Just, there's a Pokemon I love so much from Gens 3 to 5. Arguably when the series peaked, and then with the changes to Steel type in Gen 6, it just seemingly got nerfed into the ground in a way that hasn't ever actually happened for the likes of Tyranitar, Dragonite, or Salamence. Hey Jonesy, I was just rambling on about Metagross. I'm on the move for you, Golduck. Ah. Yeah, this is the particular part of the stream where I'm just sort of wandering around trying to find stuff on my own, and I... What damaged me there? I don't think I want to know. Also, neat little tidbit, here's this stuff here that I can still Rock Smash, so... just get rid of this. I suppose in terms of pseudo-legendaries, I'm kind of surprised that despite its 4 times furry weakness, Hydreigon has managed to find its place to shine, though I suppose Terrestrialization helped in that way. And that's actually just able to bypass its fairy weaknesses entirely. That would probably do it. And in the meantime, I just haven't really seen any proper love for Metagross ever since it got its Mega taken away, which I suppose was kind of cool. Weirdly enough, I found Metagross the arguably one of the more forgettable Megas, which really is a shame. Like, design-wise, it was pretty great. Anyways, getting back to what I was saying with regards to all the various shadow levels coming up. There was Kingdom Valley, which I suppose makes sense from this was one of the levels that people wanted to see in 06 over Crisis City, and from what I did see of it, it did look pretty good despite the unfortunate inclusion of 2D segments. Which, for some reason, after Final Horizon, I got the sense of, we're over this. But I guess apparently not. But with regards to being specifically a shadow-themed level, I would have thought that Dusty Desert would have made more sense, given that was his final level, and all the stuff with Mephiles, which I'm not certain whether or not he'll actually show up in this. It would be cool if he did, and it makes the most sense for him to be in this whole time travel related thing if he were to return in any game, but I'm not holding my breath on it. I'll just put that out there. It'd be cool if he shows up, but I don't expect him to. Oh, I completely forgot Wishcash was in this game. It's kind of unfortunate, really. I just feel that Wishcash just was one of those Pokemon that really got the short end of the stick, proverbially. Because it has a great typing. Water Ground is just generally great. Offensive and defensively. Just having to contend with the likes of Quagsire and Swampert. Especially Swampert. It feels like it really didn't have a chance in that regard. Which is a shame, because it did sort of follow the same mentality of having one Pokemon out there that could replace your starter, theoretically, if you didn't choose that particular one. It's just... it really feels like such a downgrade, considering just how great Swampert was. It really didn't seem fair, in all honesty. With his great move pool, it's got its great stats, which are... the fact that it even has a bit higher base stat total than Blaziken and Sceptile is honestly baffling. Okay, let's actually have a look at the stuff we actually have to look for. I think we got that one. There might be one hidden somewhere over here. We only got 4 more to go, so hopefully this shouldn't take too long. Obviously you got better moves on Swampert, like the obligatory access to Ice Beam, to just cover its main weakness, / only weakness. Obviously you got Earthquake, you got Hydro Pump, you got Surf. Just Swampert really just feels like it has everything you'd possibly want from a Pokemon like that, at least in Gen 3. Obviously, with the later gens with Power Creep, it's suffered a little bit. Actually, thinking about that, I did try out a little bit of competitive Gen 5. I don't think this was Smogon, I think it was a... not Smogon, Showdown. I think it was a different sort of application to that, but I just remember in Gen 5 actually using Swampert as a sort of Dragon Buster type Pokemon with Avalanche. Just completely decimate any and all Dragon type Pokemon when they'd show up. Obviously I was young and didn't really know exactly what I was doing, otherwise I would have known, you know, make Swampert more defensive, give him some stuff to actually sustain him, like Leftovers or a Shell Bell, but for some reason I didn't. Even still, he really did just work well as his Dragon Buster, just being able to tank anything from a Garchomp or a Dragonite and just one-shot them back in return. It was great. I certainly was fairly competent against Metagross as well because of Earthquake. But obviously you had to watch out for Air Balloon. Of course, meanwhile, Sceptile even went so far as to losing its signature move with Leaf Blade, in that it became physical, which obviously didn't benefit him in the slightest. Can I actually get this Togetic from here? I don't think I can. I don't have... oh no, I have one Feather Ball. Alright, watch this. I'm gonna whiff this spectacularly. Just wait for him to circle around, wait for him to circle round, and... nope. Don't know what I was doing there. I suppose in terms of the other shadow levels. Obviously we have Radical Highway, which I think is mixed with Westopolis. It's not entirely 100% clear, though. The distorted way it looks does definitely look fairly interesting, at least distinct enough from the 3DS Generations version of it. should be interesting to try out, though. The fourth one we got, interestingly enough, was Rail Canyon / possibly Bullet Station, which... honestly, I'm not exactly the biggest fan of Rail Canyon in hindsight, just... in terms of level design, it's not exactly the highlight of that particular game. For me, at least. And sort of, is indicative of an issue I have with arguably modern Sonic level design in general, where it's just a free lane structure. I mean, obviously with Heroes it at least made sense, given you had your free characters, but that was arguably the bulk of Rail Canyon's level design. Heck yeah, got Torterra. Yeah, the bulk of, arguably just modern Sonic level design in general, just free lanes, free sets of rails for you to just, you probably didn't jump from rail to rail all that often in Heroes. Unless you just wanted to careen off into the abyss. So then you just have, like, 2 other sets of rails just sort of hanging around, not really doing much. The sense of scale is impressive enough, and I suppose as a shadow level it makes a fair bit of sense, given it's a more dangerous looking level, and of course there was all the shadow android capsules in Bullet Station. But if I had to choose a particular level for Heroes, given stuff like Kingdom Valley as well, I would probably still go with Egg Fleet. That just feels like the Sonic Heroes level to me. You know, especially going off of the intro FMV to it. We of course have nondescript valley-looking area, which you could argue is either Seaside Hill or Seagate, and then the other place you see in the intro trailer is Egg Fleet. With all the characters, Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles just escaping this massive explosion. It was, you know, a big feel-good moment. It was great. And then again, Rail Canyon was one of the old levels that was just name-dropped in Frontiers, so I think that may have something to do with it. I'm not entirely certain if it's just going to be 4, or if there's going to be more, but I suppose 4 would make sense given it's just representing Adventure 2, Shadow the Hedgehog, Heroes, and 06. I would argue that there should probably be a more distinct Shadow the Hedgehog level, like... well, I suppose the obvious one would be Sky Troops. Or just a Black Comet level. I suppose Final Horn could look pretty neat. You know, just the changes to art design. I reckon that could look pretty wild, actually. It's weird, but I think I might want to actually see that, Final Horns. But then, of course, there was the hub they announced, basically just going out and saying it's not just levels, a 2D level select, just like in normal generations. No, it's just this big open area, basically just a mini open zone from Frontiers, which, well, it certainly seems interesting enough, though not entirely certain what you'd be doing out there. Even more interestingly, what exactly the final boss would be. Because obviously the Biolizard gets shown off fairly early, so I don't think it's going to be that. Just trying to remember all the various areas which I think I might have checked out already. This is sort of the problem with just wandering around for a bit before actually consulting any guides. Just forget which stuff you have and haven't picked up already. You just end up wasting a whole bunch of time. I suppose the big interesting thing with regards to the open zone is a lot of architecture which looks to be replicating solely on a castle town, which I will admit I'm not entirely certain how exactly I feel about them going back and reusing a lot of stuff from 06. I can appreciate it from the standpoint of looking back at previous mistakes and learning from them, but at the same time, after all this time with all these arguments about what is and isn't canonical, and this sort of feels just scrubbing 06 from canon altogether would be just a big benefit, since it practically scrubs itself from canon already. So instead you're just left with this weird quandary where it's maybe canonical, except not really. It's just, I feel it adds a little too much to the confusion that's around this series. It's just one thing you have to wonder, how exactly are the new kids who are getting into this series for the first time from the likes of the movies, how exactly are they supposed to comprehend what is and isn't canonical in this series at this point, given all the contradictions? It's just, I'm starting to wonder if that has something to do with the games that they do and do not re-release, which in hindsight really just made me wonder why they decided to go with Generations, I suppose, since it was the one that made the most sense to put Shadow into without much thought past that, though obviously the inclusion of Generations, even though I have my own thoughts on that. Would imply at the very least that basically all 9 games which are featured in there are canonical in some way, shape or form, which still leads me to think I would have preferred to see Night Palace from Secret Rings over Crisis City. Partly because it's a stylistically distinct level, and mostly because it isn't another city level, because Generations was just chock-a-block full of those, to the point where I often jokingly call Generations city rations. Of course, you got City Escape, you got Speed Highway, Rooftop Run, Crisis City if you want to count that one. Chemical Plant, possibly, if that counts. For some reason I thought there was one in here. What could I possibly be missing here? And again, Possibly one up there? I suppose that's the problem with the maps hard to go off, really. It's kind of hard to distinguish one area from another. That still feels satisfying, though. I'm glad I did that. Obviously, again, I'm not entirely certain how many other levels would be. Oh. Hello, I completely forgot you were here. I'll just, leave you to your day. Say hello to the wife for me. In terms of other levels I might want to see from this whole expansion thing, I suppose it is difficult, really, since obviously Shadow hasn't really been relevant in the series since 2006, so I'm kind of strapped for options in that regard. But I think 4 to 5 should be a fairly solid amount. Given this is supposed to be just a smaller Bowser's Fury type expansion from what I can tell. I suppose with the open zone it should be plentiful though. I am wondering if we'll still include the mission mode from the base game, because we do at least have fond memories of that. That's the weird thing really, because I feel that sort of 2008 to 2011 was the real sort of time in the Sonic series where it actually felt they were being respectful to the past rather than just completely and utterly just mining it for nostalgia baits. Before everything just got to green hills and chemical plants and sky sanctuaries. Ooh, old verse 13. Let's have a read of this. Softfoot, humble root, harvest it and peel it. Broiled, baked, or steamed will do. Boiled, mashed, stuck in a stew. Just let nobody steal it. Mash the root, then knead the mash. Then once more heat it over. Grill it only till it browns. Use ember, not flamethrower. Now hearken well and listen closely. The wise adore potato mochi. A day spent eating all in reach. There's no day wasted if you ask me. So this is just... it's literally just a recipe for the potato mochi, which weirdly enough doesn't involve potato. And I'd assume that of all the fictional berries and stuff which the series makes up, I'd assume potatoes at least exist. It at least makes sense for them to, though I am still left wondering if there is indeed just... And again, I suppose it wouldn't make sense for it to be its own, their own world version of it, considering obviously you got all the ingredients from the Scarlet and Violet, with stuff like potato salad and potato pancakes and again chorizo, even though you have no idea what it's made of. It really feels like there's a lot of stuff from this series as well, which is just plain weird in that regard. Cannot fast travel when enemies are nearby. I'm trying to think where this last one could possibly be, because I'm not entirely certain whether the guide will be all that useful at this point, because there's no real way of marking. I suppose I could have been marking this in my own time, but not really much inclination to do so. I suppose you could consider that my own lookout, though, so I'll own up to that at the very least. Maybe over there? Yeah, I think I already scoured this area already. I suppose thinking about this, I do admittedly... I've already said this before, I want to get back into some of the older games, because... Whilst this has been fun, I do sort of get that inkling, itching feeling to get back to some of the older games, like... It's been a long time since I played, like, one of the Gen 3 games. I already mentioned I wanted to do a Sapphire Nuzlocke. There's definitely one I'll float about, though obviously with that I'll probably have to think about how I want to actually structure stuff on the channel. Oh hey Norm, we were just trying to find this last forsaken wisp. Just got one more left to find, it's just floating around here somewhere. Considering how well these things pop out, I would have thought I'd found it by now. Maybe it would have been here, or maybe I already picked up that one. It really just feels like I'm missing something at this point. I suppose thinking back... Oh, what I saw there for a second, but that wasn't it. I suppose thinking back to the Gen 3 starters, though, as I was mentioning that earlier, about just how much better Swampert is, it really does seem baffling in hindsight. But you would have thought at the very least they would have made all the Gen 3 starters have the same base stat total, but apparently someone was really just playing favorites with Swampert. I mean, I do like Swampert, it's just... especially given how much it gets. With its moves, its stats, its overall utility, it just... It doesn't feel fair, almost. Especially given Sceptile barely gets anything. I mean, Sceptile's still definitely cool. It just barely gets anything compared to Swampert. Really, arguably, the only thing Sceptile has is actually being able to counter Swampert because it has stuff like Leaf Blade. Yep, one wisp, I don't know why. Trying to figure places which I might have already checked, though. I already checked over there. Maybe one over here. I'll have to check. Well, I suppose, to be fair, I was sort of expecting this to take as long as it did. As it does seem kind of par for the course, given how the rest of these streams have gone. I'm definitely looking forward to actually moving on with the plot, though. I feel as though we've been messing around with all these collectibles for long enough. I think I already got that one. Already got that one. Sorry, I'm just looking through the list. Maybe over here? No, I already got that one. What? No, I already got that one, I'm sure. And that one. And that one. And that one, and... I don't think I've checked over here yet. Imagine if it was just over here this whole time. Nope, not got that one. Possibly over here. What? No, I don't think it's around here. Would have been neat if it was, though. And again, Starting to get a little bit desperate here, in all honesty. Please, kid. I want to be able to move on with the plot. I know this is optional, but lay it out in front of me and I want to get through it all as soon as I can. Wait. What if it actually is over here? And I just completely overlooked it all this time. Oh, this area. I was just looking in this area, like, a couple days back, or at least a week, when I was looking for, yeah. Right. Of course it was this one. And that's all the wisps. Gotta report back to Vesa, because I got all of them finally, but... obviously we're not done here. 18, 19, 20, we got... 13, 12... we got a whole bunch of old verses still missing here. So far it's 11... 18, so we're missing old verses 1, 3, and 11. No, it's 1 and 2. Silly me. Oh, yeah. If you take away 3 wisps, 27. Yeah, at this point, math, it's, never exactly been my strong suit. Yeah, got Kyle here. He's been a venerable and honorable member of the team thus far. Couldn't have gotten where I was without him. I think there's one located over here. I think if we just get these verses, then we go back, report our findings to the, to Vesa. And then we come back and do all the unknowns. So there should be an old verse around here somewhere. Is it underneath this arch? It is underneath the arch. Old verse 2. Let's have a read of it. Oh, you who at the world's far off end dwell, I know your wish, it is my wish as well. To bring Kyle to this world and subject him to horrors no man or Pokemon could comprehend. My own beloved is gone from me, departed to a place I cannot reach. My old companions have left me behind, their faces faded into days gone by. Still to my breast I clutch this hopeless dream, a futile wish for us to once more to meet. Oh, you who at the world's far off end dwell, I know your wish. It is my wish as well. But ours are cold and endless winter's days, warmed only by memories locked away. You gotta wonder who exactly wrote these. I don't think it was ever confirmed as to who. I almost want to say it was the initial hero who was here like 1,000... What, was it 1,000 years ago? Yeah, the ancient hero, basically. That was foretold of having his 10 companions. You know what, since we're here, we may as well celebrate by trying to catch this Licky Licky. Just don't look at me, don't look... You know what, you probably like salt. Here, have salt. This looks like one of those sort of Pokemon that you'd want to feed a lot. Come on, eat this. You know what? Beans. He eating beans! Okay, so you don't have to feed this one, but he's distracted. Now's my chance. Please say that worked. Heh. And thankfully, I don't have to go back to change it to nighttime anymore, which is good. Okay, last one, Gatejaw Bog. All the way back here again, it seems. Alright. We'll be on our merry way. Oh, that... Oh, no. Oh, and I thought Frontiers had bad pop-in. That's just... Oh. I dread to imagine how they're going to be able to optimize games for the Switch 2. I dread to imagine even how Legend Zar is going to look like. Given the performance of, Scarlet and Violet. I mean, at least I'm hoping the performance is a little bit better, but... Obviously, I'm not counting on it. Just look at that. Okay, should be around here. There we go. Old verse 1. Yes, let's read it now. The first. Once there were two, and one looked upon time's steady pace, and one looked upon the expanse of space. And the two set out, the fullness of future did they speak, to the world's far end they would greet. Two different paths, walking each alone a path their own, though they walk with almighty Sinnoh. I'm guessing that's the origin of the Diamond and Pearl clans. Anyways, let's go in and hand in all the wisps. So we can finally get to the reason why we're here. I don't necessarily have hope for Optimized Legends Zar, but it's more so something I would expect. Or at least just minimum expectations is just average purchaser of games. I don't want to say consumer, because obviously that has a cynical ring to it. Alright, here we are again. Oh yeah, we also got some rewards, I think. Let's see what we get. Merit points, and that's about it. Oh, look at her, just hiding in the shade, all ominous-like. Thanks again for helping me. You've collected 107 wisps so far. Here's a little thank you present from me. Grit rocks, yes. Wow, you gathered every last one of the wisps. I really can't thank you enough. Now we can finally seal away that havoc-wreaking bundle of mischief once more. But we'll need to go to the Shrouded Ruins. That's the only place the seedling will work. We should meet there at the same time of day as when we first met. I hope you remember. Obviously, that's... Yep. It even spells it out for you. It's nighttime. Go there at nighttime, you, child. Oh, hey, I actually have the grit rocks in my inventory, not that I can use them. Let's see, who can I use this pebble on? Because obviously everyone's... You know what? Let's get you up to maximum defense. I reckon that's going to be useful later. And we have a whole bunch of just... Obviously I need to favorite these as well. These are important. We'll use one and... Wow, that's a lot. Might actually get you up to speed in regards to levels. We'll give the large to Kyle, give him up to the funny level. Yeah, that seems like a fairly good allocation. Right, and finally, last collectible we need to do is the unknowns. Thankfully, we just still have the ones in the Mylons left to get, so we can wrap this up real quick, I think. So, back to the Mylons we go. I will admit, in terms of visuals, I still think this is the least impressive of the places. I think I already stated this before, but I'd still say my favorite is the coastlands in terms of visuals. It's definitely going to be interesting going back there once we need to, so... First is K, which is... at the Shrouded Ruins, so we'll save that for last. A tree fell on square. Oh, sludge. So that's... M. All the way back over at the Sludge Mound, where arguably a lot of this began. I suppose it makes sense for there to be one here. I've noticed that there tend to be a few unknowns around the sort of more story-driven areas. Like, it's literally right there. Almost impossible to miss. I missed. There we go. There we go. Finally got it. So, that's M. And lastly is a withered tree on the sprawling red swamp. This would be V, I believe. In the Scarlet Bog. The Bog of Eternal Stench. Tra-la-la. I really do need to watch Labyrinth again at some point. It does sort of remind me of this one time we were playing, I don't remember the name of the board game, but I remember it was a co-op one. It was sort of a choose-your-own-adventure sort. And I remember distinctly that one of the, I suppose, sort of big boss monsters you run into. It was sort of around Christmas of this year, so obviously the new Doctor Who had just come out, and one of the boss monsters, my mom pointed out, oh, it just looks like the Goblin King. And I was just thinking, that looks nothing like David Bowie. Partially out of ignorance for the contents of that particular episode, more so just not wanting to think about it all that much. Just I will admit I was a fairly big fan of Doctor Who growing up, more so of the Eccleston and Tennant eras. I did grow an appreciation for Smith's run later on, namely seasons 5 and 6. 7 wasn't as good. But I feel, all things considered, that possibly the 50th anniversary would have made for a fairly good endpoint, and just respecting all the stuff that came before, and generally tying off the whole big Time War arc in a fairly nice bow. Okay, it's on one of those piles of stones over here. Suppose I'll just have to keep my eyes peeled just to see which one. Well, obviously you can't really say much about Doctor Who anymore without being basically mobbed by Twitter, so I don't feel as though I want to say all that much about it, unfortunately. Just that I don't really see it getting better in the near future, unfortunately. I would like to see it, just what I have seen, it doesn't... I'm not holding my breath. And I think that's enough I'll say about that. That's all the unknowns, by the way. We got them all. Forms captured 28, and I think that means that they'll start spawning at the ruins. But first, we need to go and actually visit here. The Odd Keystone. Stent, I'm glad you came. Let's get started, shall we? Alright. First of all, a confession. I may have told you a teeny tiny lie. About the wisps, there are actually 108 of them. I've been holding on to the last one. Could you put it in the Odd Keystone with the others? Alright. But wait, before that, well, Stent, what do you think of me? I don't really know you. Really, even after gathering 107 wisps? Well, it's fine. We have time after all. All the time in the world. Here it goes, the final wisp. After this, the traveler who used that strange magic will finally forgive me, right? Close your eyes for a second, would you? Okay. Frickin' teleported. Oh. I guess you just left it here. Retrieve the last wisp. Not entirely certain as to what will happen after this, so I'm gonna save up real quick and just gather the last one. The odd keystone started glowing. It disappeared without a trace. Making you gather all those wisps was my last bit of mischief. Thanks for playing along, and please don't forget about me. I already forgot her name, sorry. Sense the presence of a strange Pokemon. It's still there though, it didn't disappear at all. Feel the presence of a strange Pokemon. Oh, hello! Spiritom's here. Now here's an interesting little tidbit. Back in... Wow, he's mad. He's vicious, he's a madman. And he's level 60. Yeah, I know it was Vesta, it was just a joke. I'm gonna go light on this one because I want to catch it. But yeah, I never actually caught Spiritomb back in the Gen 4 days, because of course you need to use the whole underground feature, and there wasn't anyone around at that time who I knew who also had the game, so it was just sort of I was just a little bit stuck there, I suppose, just not being able to actually do the thing. I know it's a little easier in Brilliant Diamond Shining Pearl, but it's still kind of tedious. Alright, that's Spiritomb, I guess. I was expecting that to be a little bit more climactic. Also, where is my HUD? There is my HUD. Let's see what's in this tree. Oh, it's another sandy cloak. I forgot you could find them here. Thankfully, I don't have to actually hold back with you. Number defeated, okay. So with that, I think the next step we'll have to do is actually trying to find a Turtwig. Because of course we need one for this next side quest we're doing. Let's see actually what other side quests we need to do at the moment, because I suppose we could also do the Clefairy one while we're here, because I forgot about that. First one though, finding Turtwig. I mean, we already found a Torterra, so Turtwig shouldn't be too hard to find. I'm presuming it's more so around the southbound part of the map. A place called the Droning Meadow, which... Oh, it's over on this side, okay. It's saying it's apparently the Droning Meadow, so we're gonna have a look over there and see if we can find ourselves a Turtwig. And then we're gonna do the whole, Clefairy thing, which I think will mean having to, spend a few nights on Coronet Islands, just trying to re-roll for the right conditions. Now, where is Turtwig? Surely it shouldn't be too hard to find. I'm gonna try doing this in the day, actually. That'll probably make more sense. There'll be less Ghastlies about. Okay, it's checking the map. It seems to be by the water. Oh yeah, completely forgot you could just do this. That's nice. Turtwig is admittedly one of those Pokemon which I feel also gotten a bad rep. Obviously not to the same extent as something like Chestnut, but given its 4 times weakness to ice and not being particularly great in generation which had Infernape. Just again, it's like in Gen 4 there's practically no reason not to use Infernape. It's bonkers. Yeah, there's Turtwig. It looks to just be a singular Turtwig. Can I actually... Oh, you can hide in this tiny patch of grass. And Turtwig's just sort of there like, what are you doing? Why are you stepping into my house? Let's see how a mushroom cake fares you. Oh yeah, you also have to give him food, so... Let's throw out some more food and hopefully not aggro that Paris. Because of course Paris is weirdly aggressive in this game. Here, Turtwig, have some cake. I wonder... I'm guessing you just have to feed it 5 times? I do think Turtwig is fairly cute, it just... But then again, arguably all the Gen 4 starters were kind of cute, even though... Back when I first saw the pictures of all the Gen 4 final evolutions, Empoleon was sort of the one that looked the least ridiculous, because of course you had Chimchar with its butt on fire. I suppose Infernape with head on fire is a bit more cool in hindsight, especially given how it was treated in the anime. Like, anime Infernape was just crazy cool in hindsight. It was great. I don't think Turtwig likes the grain cakes. Never mind. I guess it just had to wait for it to actually do its thing. And I think for this last one, I want to try and kite it over here a little bit more, so... Here you go, Turtwig. This should be the last one. Now look at that, we've already filled out its dex entry, and now... That should do it. Please. Yes, got Turtwig. Obviously, in the post-game, this gets a fair bit easier. Okay. Just rest up after that, because wow. Well, so much from the water. Look at that, we got everything we needed. And we've already completed Turtwig's thing, wow. I guess giving it food was just a really big boost of that. Yeah. Words. Okay, so for Spiritomb you really only need to catch the one. I mean, you can also catch them, as far as I'm aware, with a mechanic that comes up during the post-game, but I guess here was just the main way you're supposed to do it. Anyways. Let's show the photography man our findings. And hope that that's the last one. I don't remember there being another one after this one, but then again, there's not many side quests in this game I do remember. About that request you had, I got the Pokemon you wanted. It's here. It's a twig. Yes, that pair of leaves on its head. That's it. I knew the photo had captured a Pokemon. I'm invited to take a proper shot of it to commemorate this little discovery. I keep forgetting this guy's voice as well. Being able to hold my eyes up as a photographer thanks to these little puzzles for sure. I still want to see a photography of more different Pokemon. Alright. New options added to the photography studio. I'm hoping that's the last one, but I don't think it will be. But then again, I suppose this would be an ample time for me to actually do it, considering I think after this, we don't really have much to do outside of continuing the story, which obviously brings its own tribulations. Because from what I recall, it gets quite big from here on out. It's been and everyone's just like, yes, Cloud Lord Avalok, it's been a month since all the nobles were called, and yet that wormhole is still there. I think this might be the conditions. Just gotta quickly mad dash over to here, I believe. I don't remember the exact place you have to stand in order for this to work. Just I'll just wander around until I get it down right, because this is, from what I recall, a fairly obscure one. Though, from what I recall, it does also remind me a fair bit of the Furry episode from the anime, which I watched recently. Obviously, I was doing other stuff at the time. It's just, despite actually not growing up with it and just having watched it more in recent years, it's one of those things that still weirdly feels nostalgic for me. Like seeing the Clefairies in that, and in stuff like the Metronome game from Stadium 1. It really feels like a part of the series' history that I just missed out on, and just looking back upon echoes of it. Not sure if that makes much sense, but that's just how I feel at the very least. Yeah. I don't remember exactly where you need to go. Oh, hey, Alpha Badoo! Somehow that Badoo didn't notice me. That must be like the most placid alpha I've ever seen. Okay, how to check the moon phase. This may be our chance to actually get a Ursaluna as well. I suppose that would be the optimal way to actually do this, though. Just keep going back and checking to see if you can evolve your Ursaring. Do I actually have an Ursaring? Let's have a little look. Obviously, we can move all these. And now comes the big question. Do I have an Ursaring? Searching, and oh, the answer is yes. I am legitimately surprised about that. I think for the time being, we'll just get rid of Jet. Just put him in the box there and check if I actually have a peak block in my inventory. I think there's one in storage. Here it is, peak block. I will admit I've never actually had the chance to use Ursaluna. But I know it's supposedly pretty good. Like, especially with guts, it just punches holes in things that you wouldn't believe. Oh! I can use it now, though it's snowing. Hopefully that won't change anything. Guess I just gotta go over there and find out. I'm starting to wonder whether or not I would have been better off going to the Moonview Arena, because I wouldn't have... At the very least, I wouldn't have all these mountains in the way. I suppose that's sort of the main issue with the Highlands in general, just... It's fine when you're actually just going up towards the mountain, but actually trying to cut across, it's kind of annoying to navigate. I suppose there's another reason why I kind of prefer the coastlands as well, why that's one of my favorite places, because really for most of that, it's basically just a, I suppose a big W, basically. Where obviously you have all your, most of the map just split in two with the big ridge where the grave is. Then you have the mount, then you have the volcano, then you have the south coasty bit. Now, where exactly are you supposed to stand for this? I don't think these Clefairies are going to be necessarily actually trying to... Okay. Let's see where exactly you're supposed to stand for this. I think you just have to go over where Alpha Fable is. Let's try and see if we can actually proc this whilst we're over here, actually. Or do we specifically have to be on this ledge here? Because I imagine... and again, Alright, I think it is just straight up the Fabled Spring, so let's go have a look at the Fabled Spring. I think... Oh, snow's cleared up. That's good. I think there's something in here, around here that I'm supposed to investigate. Let's just check around and find out. Want to check if I can still evolve Ursaluna? I can. But where... I can't remember exactly where you're supposed to stand. Let me just check. I didn't think it would have to be this specific. Okay, it is over there. Should be around here somewhere. Don't mind me, Rosalia. Hitting A, hitting A. Don't mind me, don't mind me. Clefable, I'm trying to do your thing. Just please leave me be. Leave me be. I'm hoping at the very least that the cloud cover isn't ruining this for me. It would be kind of a pain to try and have to constantly be re-rolling this to get the right conditions. It does seem like the night for it. I don't think it's as far back here. Sorry, just trying to check as to whether or not I've got the right place to do this. Meanwhile, Clefable's just sort of standing over there. In fact, you know what? You know what? Get out of the way, Rosalia. Let's see how you deal with that. That's what I thought. Now, where is this thing? Because I know it's supposed to be full moon, and it is full moon. And yet the thing isn't showing. So what gives? Not entirely certain as to... Actually, let me check. Do I actually have to have the thing as my main objective? Let me just check. Hopefully that changes something, but... what exactly, I can't say. It's supposed to be around here somewhere. Unless it's like actually over here. Give me a sign, game. You're not making this any easier for me. You mind? Was it over here? Was it? I'm just... oh boy. Oh boy. I didn't think it'd be this tedious. What if it's all the way over back here? You know, I'm just gonna go over here, see if I can come back in when I've de-aggroed everything. So I know it's supposed to be around here. I'm just gonna go back here and try to re-roll. As this is starting to get a little silly. I didn't think we'd be stuck for so long on this. And I can't exactly remember how many, wait. I mean, I know I already rested up, so why exactly is it still... Suppose we may as well just go back and see if anything's actually changed. Maybe this will be the one. Who knows? I was just thinking, because it doesn't specify the exact place you're supposed to go in order to check it out. So just go over here and click around until you find it, I guess. Which, I will admit, definitely a little annoying, because it felt as though I was going mad. Come on, up you get. Let's assume it's over here. Oh. Oh. That's the reason why it's not showing up for me, because I haven't even started the quest yet properly. Note to self. Actually start the quest before going off to try and complete the quest. Otherwise you'll be like me and regret everything you've ever done. Alright. Now where exactly do I go in order to fill out this request, I wonder? Oh, it's inside. Hopefully there's... You know what? I do hope there's more quests. Because I feel as though I need to make up for this embarrassment. Nothing here. Okay, it's downstairs. I think we're 8 star already. It's honestly kind of feels as though it's a little too easy to try and to actually maximize your rank in this. Where I come from, Clefairy would come out and dance on nights on a full moon. I hear there's Clefairy in his suite, and so I was wondering if they dance here too. Alright, investigate whether Clefairy dances in the fabled spring on nights of the full moon. That's what I needed to do first. And yet here I am with my bunny brain thinking too far ahead. Thankfully this will actually have an indication of where I'm supposed to go now. Oh, and there's Voltorbs here as well, interesting. This is why I'm kind of dreading the prospect of actually playing something like Breath of the Wild. Okay, so we're still eligible to do it, so let's get right on over to moving and finally do this quest proper. I will say though, I definitely prefer exploring a lot of these places in the day. Mostly because you aren't constantly swarmed by Ghastlies and Golbats. It really feels indicative of the proper Gen 4 experience thinking about it, just nothing but Golbats. Especially here in the Coronet Highlands. You know, right at the foot of the classic Mount Coronet. Which, say what you want about it, there were a lot of Golbats. I learned from experience. Okay. Take 3. Maybe my luck will change. Investigate. 2 Clefairies do the dance in the rain. Oh, the rain cleared up. Boop boop. I always found it kind of weird that... I love how the little one's out of sync. I found it weird how in the anime, whenever Clefable would use metronome, they always rolled explosion. Or at least what I'm assuming was explosion, considering the massive amount of explosive power that came out of it. And the little one's just... Hey, where'd everybody go? How endearing. Yeah, okay, that certainly made up for it. Ooh, what's that over there? It's a glowing item on the ground, just like in Colosseum. Found a moonstone. Of course it's a moonstone. I will admit I'm still kind of baffled about the fact that Umbreon doesn't evolve from a moonstone. It feels like one of those evolutionary methods that just makes a lot of sense. Considering they already allowed you to evolve Glaceon with an Ice Stone and Leafeon with a Leaf Stone. It just seems to make perfect sense that Espeon would evolve from a Sunstone and Umbreon from a Moonstone. And by that logic, probably Sylveon with a Shiny Stone as well, because I think, given, you know, Fairy typing, Shiny Stone would make the most sense. It sort of leaves me to wonder what the Dawn and Dusk Stones would do with regards to potential evolutions, because realistically I kinda can't help but feel that realistically should only be one extra evolution if they were going to add any more. Mostly just to round out the whole special typings thing, because one cool little thing I noticed, I think a lot of people have noticed with the evolutions, is that all the evolved forms have typings indicative of the types which went off of special attack damage back in Gens 1 to 3, which was Fire, Water, Electric, Grass, Ice, Psychic, Dark. Realistically, Fairy would make sense to throw in there as well, considering it would have most likely been special. Let's just give it that, though. There was one special type which never got an evolution, which was Dragon. So I think if they were to add one more evolution, a Dragon type would make the most sense, though. I imagine there's a multitude of ways you could go about it. So you say the Clefairy dance here in the land of the sweet too. It must have been adorable to behold. I must go and see them one of these days. Thank you for looking into that for me. I'm excited to see what you will accomplish next. Yummy salt cakes. Mmm. And a whole bunch more experience candies to, I will say, though, these experience candies have always looked a weird color to me, and I can't evolve Ursaring anymore. I missed my chance. Or have I? Or do I just need to go outside? I think it's still nighttime outside. Alright, please give me this. I knew I'd forgotten to do something on my way over here. Come on. Let me just check out the, Let's go to the Highlands again, see if we can actually do it. Because I would, at the very least, like to get a Ursaluna. Even though its evolutionary method is certainly odd. Alright, Peat Block. I think I missed my chance. You know what? No. We're not gonna do... Not doing that. Just gonna keep here rolling until it eventually comes back to a full moon. The plot will not proceed until I get an Ursaluna. Not even the snow will deter me from accomplishing this. Let's... You know what? Let's get Call to 70. That's going to be useful later. Yes, until nightfall. We're going to keep doing this until it gets to a full moon again. A whole month will pass. It's been 7 months since the Avalugg was quelled, and yet nothing has changed at all. Through the power of JRPG protagonism, nothing happens until they actually proceed with the plots. I imagine we're going to see a bunch of that with Final Fantasy VII as well. Ooh, it's all foggy here now. Ooh. Yep, just gonna keep going. I imagine you must also have to do this a lot in the post-game as well. I will admit, doing all this healing and resting up sort of makes me wonder if there is... what an overheal mechanic in these games would be like. Obviously it would make it a whole bunch easier, but... I suppose if you balance the game around that, the fact that you can overheal, then... I can imagine it would probably be interesting, at least for more casual play. Obviously I don't see overhealing coming into competitive unless there's actually some sort of move which dictates it. Which, let's be fair, I do imagine them doing at some point, similar to the Revival Blessing, which I never would have thought I would have actually seen a means of reviving Pokemon in the battle, in a competitive battle outside the Wonder Launcher, which... It is kind of weird that they just completely scrapped the Wonder Launcher after Gen 5. It's just... You have this cool thing which revamped the battle system a little bit, and yet it didn't see past Gen 5. I don't think many people actually remember the Wonder Launcher. I know since I was the only person playing Black and White in when I was growing up that I didn't really get a chance to use it. Like, yeah, you get a set amount of items set to use, so you just have to strategize around using them. Imagine it could have been pretty made for a pretty fun singles format, though obviously the fact that you can just spam potions probably didn't go over well. It's just like the gym leader experience all over again. We finally whittled down that uber defensive Pokemon your opponent has, and you're just one hit away from winning it all, and then they just full restore. Definitely looking forward to playing more... Oh, there we go. Finally got myself an Ursaluna. Don't think I'll actually be using this one, but it's nice to know that I finally caught it for the Pokédex. I will admit that how the Hisuian forms are handled in these games are definitely weird, because obviously you got some which went extinct, like Ursaluna and such, and yet you still find Pokemon like Basculegion in Scarlet and Violet, so I'm so led to wonder whether or not Hisuian forms will just start showing up as though they were just any other ordinary Pokemon. I wouldn't put it past them to do so. Okay. I think, crazily enough, that was basically everything I wanted to do, unless there's any more side quests for me to sink my teeth into. So I think we can finally move on to the story. Or at least half an hour's worth of the story, considering the time this has gone on for. I must apologize for a lot of the getting bogged down with hunting for the wisps and the Clefable bit. That really was embarrassing on my end. Oh, that's beautiful. That is beautiful. Oh yeah, and I also got a God of War. Alright, so bloom or not to bloom? That was another quest line in here. I may as well see if I can knock that one off real quick, because I think I got all the stuff I need to do it. Completed Pokédex entry for Cherub. I think that by now I actually do have that. First I need to find Cherub in my dex to confirm. Yep, completed dex entry. Let's finally go report this in. Yes, Professor, log Ursaluna. And oh yeah, Clefable and Clefairy are here as well, I suppose. I don't think anyone's actually taken this long tent in this Avalugg quest, because wow. It's been 2 months. And yet they still haven't reported back he must be dead. Alright, let's finally hand in this Cherub quest, and I think my mints should be ready. My mints are not ready. Alright, I got your Cherub info. Oh, well, you sure went into detail. I see. So it changes form when the sun's hidden. Guess I didn't see it evolve, I just saw it change in action. I see now why it helps how you survey call folks working on researching Pokemon. I guess I better get back to my own work. Food on the table is just another way to repay you. And we get a whole bunch of... I'm kind of baffled, honestly, that you get the Cherub mission so early in the game. And all you get for it is some Vivichokes, which sure is nice, just free revives, but again, kind of baffling. That's all you get. Oh yeah, we can make Gigatons. May as well make some of those. And, yeah. I'll have to check actually if there's anything I could actually use Bugworts for, because they don't seem particularly useful considering they're only useful in medicinal herbs. Crafting recipes. Let's see what we can get now with our funds, which is not much. Auxiliary Power Guard, Sticky Glob, Max Revive, and Max Elixir. I think we'll go Max Revive. And that basically blows through all my funds. So, I think, given the time, we'll just see how far we can get in the story. Because I don't think... Obviously, we have a fair bit to go. So, let's hand in our objective, because I don't think there's any more for us to do at the moment. Aside from the Manaphy one, which we kind of want to save till the post-game, along with all the other legendaries we're bound to catch. Well, just you took your time. Each of the Pokemon nobles became frenzied, and now each of them have been quelled. We still have no explanation for why this calamity befell us, but I'm glad to see it put to an end, finally. And to think peace will be restored to Hisui by the hand of our mysterious Riftborn helper. When tomorrow dawns, it will dawn on a world restored to normalcy. At long last, we will be able to return to our normal lives. Go nourish yourself with the Wallflower, and allow yourself a good long rest. Don't forget, the Survey Corps' work is not over. It does not end until our people can live here in Hisui without fearing the Pokemon around us. I mean, it's been several months since I actually quelled it, so I think we would have noticed. Thanks for this nice, sizable helping of potato mochi, Betty old chum. Oh, and if there's anything else that you'd recommend, by all means, bring it out. Not one for word of that one, eh? Having the nobles all quelled puts a grave threat to rest. Now it's time we focus on our survey work, though. We still can't let our guard down around regular wild Pokemon, of course. I certainly had our reservations as to whether Avalog needed quelling, but if it means bringing calm to everyone, then I suppose we did the right thing. Yeah, someone might have been under attack by some frenzied noble at this very moment if Stent hadn't come falling out of the sky to us. We could all be dead. This whole village could have been flattened. I still wonder, though, just what is the space-time rift anyway? What'll make it finally go? Wait, if the rift were to vanish, would that leave Stent stranded here? Yep. Well, our little Gina is certainly practiced at investigating things by now. We'll look into the matters and find a solution, I've no doubt. And even if we don't, you'll always have a home here in Jubilife Village, Stent. You'll always have a home here, I'm sure. Several flags raising. Now then, tomorrow's soon upon us, and it'll be another hard day at work for the Survey Corps. Don't forget what we have our sights on, nothing less than a completed Pokédex. That's right, we'll get it done, with Stent in the lead and me as the valiant assistant. Not salty about that at all, by the way. Assistant, come now, Rakari. Don't sell yourself short. You're a full-fledged member of the Survey Corps, too. Well, thanks for that, Professor. Guess I'd better eat my fill and get plenty of energy for another long day tomorrow. I mean, normally you have breakfast of that, surely. Alright, let's see what happens when the day breaks. Surely nothing bad will happen. Kakoom! No, Bakoom! Sorry. Game? There we go. Disaster looming, ooh. Go outside and see what's happening. Do we need to change? No, you know what? I'm happy with our current attire. See if there's anything else we can, Some lovely stones that someone must have found, but they're just plain old stones. Yes, just completely, disillusion any at all significance these rocks would have had. Paper lantern seems to use oil as fuel. America wants to know your location. Nice fire in the sunken hearth can keep the entire room heated. I just remember, don't. Diligent records will save you from such a fate. So, obviously, gonna save here, and we'll see what happens when we go outside. Because I imagine, what could possibly befall in the town outside? Oh, it's I guess Cyrus is up to his old tricks again. Stent. Yes. The sky is hexagons. You see it too, don't you? Our table. That's... Some sort of dreadful energy seems to be pouring from the rift in space-time. Now the entire sky has gone red, or just a bunch of hexagons with some green wisps, I don't know. I have word from the commander. You are to report to his office at once. He just looks like he's about to break into tears, even though he's done nothing. How can we help? The way of the sky has changed. It is ominous. Very ominous indeed. What's this about, Commander? You did call us here to discuss the killing of all the nobles, didn't you? That can wait. There is a more pressing concern here that must be addressed. The first strike of that strange lightning, the one that drove Cleavor into a frenzy, it struck the night Stent fell from the sky, did it not? It only seems natural to think the two events might be linked in some way. Who or what are you really, Stent? I am a human. Indeed, you've done all I've ordered. Now I'm going to completely screw you over anyway. But that does not answer the question of who you really are. You came from the rift, as did the lightning. You're connected to these frenzies, are you not? Did you think to gain our trust by quelling the frenzies you yourself brought about? And having gained our trust, what then? What is it you're really after here? I just want to go home. Hold on, Commander. But there's nothing to suggest Stent has wronged us. Exactly. Exactly. And besides, do you really think he's got some sort of fearsome power to take to make all this happen? Let me ask you in turn. Can you prove beyond a doubt that he is free from guilt? This person, this stranger in paradise that appeared out of the rift in space-time, who here can guarantee he is who he says? Who here can guarantee he is to be trusted? But that's... no one can do that. You're asking us to prove a negative. How is someone supposed to prove the absence of all doubt? Come on, let's be reasonable. What is Stent supposed to do, then? He's supposed to die. He'll be given this chance to investigate this latest disaster, but not as a member of the Galaxy team. He remains a suspect unless he can clear his name. There are those in our village who cannot trust a stranger like you who fell from the sky. And so I must ask you to leave. You are no longer welcome in the Galaxy team. Consider yourself banished from this village until you can explain why these calamities keep befalling our good people. No, until you've restored our world to its rightful state and proven your innocence beyond doubt. Is that clear, Silene? Yes, sir. How can you be so heartless? Don't you believe in Stent? Do not attempt to intervene on his behalf. I will do what I must as the commander of the Galaxy Expedition Team. But I have not forgotten your deeds, nor the unusual skill you have displayed. Hence why I'm not ending your life right here. That is why I've chosen to let you walk out of here rather than clap you in chains. You're to be expelled from the village. What? Why? Orders are orders. Alright, time for the long... Let's go. Alright, time for the long, slow walk of shame out of town. Scary. This way. Just want to hear what everyone else says. Got any... You're not even letting me say goodbye to my friends, honestly. Oh, now you're really throwing shade. You really... You know, I do have... What? I do have a whole bunch of levels... How could anyone... I literally helped you... like, half an hour ago. Honestly, sir. Honestly, after everything I've done for you. All the side quests I did. And you're throwing shade at me like this. Also, aren't you supposed to be dead? We can take it from here, ma'am. Understood. However, the decision was mine to accept a stranger as a member of the Survey Corps. It is only right that I should personally escort him from the village to the Fieldlands camp. I'll also see him off. As will I, naturally. I'll allow it. Then I'll mark you all down as bound for the Fieldlands camp. Safe travels. Honestly, unbelievable. I'm stunned if they still throw all that doubt in me after all the side quests I did. Like, if you'd just done none of them, I'd understand it, but surely there'd be a little bit more support for me thrown after all the side quests I've done. I can't believe the boss would do this. You were acting on his own orders when you quelled the frenzied nobles. Quite right, and moreover, even if you did happen to fall from the sky, that hardly gives you the power to turn it red. This is utterly intolerable, and might I add, absurdly unscientific. As a man of science, I must fight such illogical thinking tooth and nail. You must not. You will only cause Stan more pain if you are driven out as well for defending him. However, there are others who might offer help. You've been an aid to both the Diamond and Pearl clans. Of course, maybe Animan or Irida might take you in. Though I'm afraid they've both already returned to their respective settlements. Perhaps you could try to go find Leon first? He's likely to be at Grand Tree Arena. Don't die alone out there. That's an order. I'll ensure you have all you need to complete the survey the commander has tasked you with. And, if I might offer my advice, in this life you'll meet both admiration and abuse from others. How others choose to view you is a choice only they can make. You cannot make it for them. All that truly matters is that you hold firm to your own values. Your own ideals, even. What of the dream I first shared with you on Prelude Beach to complete the Pokédex? That dream simply won't come true without you. Seek out Leon. Alright. Got no other stuff to talk to me about? Alright. At least you're allowing me to swap out my stuff here, so I appreciate that at the very least, though. Yeah, this really does look like, what happened when Cyrus tried to reset the world. I'm not certain whether or not I'd actually want to do a playthrough of Shining Pearl on the channel. I think I've already made that clear, though. Alright, let's just roll out to Grand Tree Arena. I'm thinking for next stream I'll just put out a poll, because I'm sure that there's going to be some debate on whether or not I want Animan or Irida to help me out, or to be the ones I seek out first, so tell you what, we'll get closer to the Grand Tree Arena and then we'll just save up. At least I'm, I will admit I don't remember too much about this particular part of the game. Aside from the fact that the sky is now red. May as well put... Can I put a save down, please? Thank you. Oh, and I've also been revoked my license. That's a fun detail. Alright, let's see how you feel about all this. Hey, hey, Liam, how you doing, old buddy? You, what in the world did you do? Look at the size of that rift. If lightning starts pouring from it, all the Pokemon in this suite could be thrown in a frenzy. The entire clan's in a panic now. I should have known that the only thing to come from that rift was disaster. Oh well, screw you too, then. Is that really all you came to say? Look, you needn't try putting on a brave face. You've been a help to the Pro Clan, and we know what kind of person you are. Though it must be said, for every sympathetic ear you might find here, you also found a detractor who fears your presence. I truly wish that I could repay you for Quill and Cleavor's frenzy as you did. You must know that, surely, but there ain't anything I alone can do for you. Warren Ma might be able to help you, though. She's a caring woman, after all. You'll likely find Ma down at the Warren Bridge. I think that's a pretty significant place for her. Somewhere in the vastness of this way there's a place for you as well. One can certainly hope. I love how just dire the objectives here are now, just so blunt and to the point. It really just sort of hammers home the tone here. That, you know, before everything was, oh, happy-go-lucky, you know, going on this big quest to fight all the nobles, and now it's like everything is going wrong. I do appreciate that at the very least, even though, obviously, I'm left with the opinion of actually just wanting to not bother at all with going back to Jubilife Village after the way Komodo treated me. And the rest of the village, mind you. Still haven't forgotten that. Well, here we are, the Worn Bridge. My, what a frightful sky. Such a disturbing sight would be enough to put anyone ill at ease. You don't know what brought this about, do you? That's what I'm trying to find out. I suppose it was too much to expect that you could already have an answer to this. I heard from my leader what happened. You can't return to that little village of yours, can you? But I'm afraid the Diamond Clan cannot be the ones to save you. The Diamond Clan could end up at war with the Galaxy team if things went badly. I think you would regret that as much as anyone. The Great Warrior took a liking to you. I wanted to offer you my support, but... Forgive me, I cannot help you in this. Well, screw you too, then. Do not abandon hope. Time solves all things. And besides, you seem to have a talent for making your own way in the world. I have no doubt you'll continue to find a path to walk. Yeah, may as well just walk over here and cast myself into the ocean. I'll look as much I can do at this point. Ah, cute little shanks. Here to presumably maul me to death. Hey there, little fella. You here to kill me? I guess not. Alright. Suppose I'll just stay here for like several hours. Oh, it's this guy. Strange events seem to follow you wherever you go, don't they? Hello, Volo. I was wondering when you'd show up. Found you at last. I've been looking all over for you, you know. What would I do if I were to lose one of my favorite customers? You haven't sold me anything, though. I'm still waiting for you to act as this quirky salesman, yet you haven't been a salesman at all, aside from because of knowledge. Oh, don't worry, I've already heard about what happened. A good merchant knows well the importance of staying abreast of all the latest news. Seems you're in quite a pinch. No place for you among the Diamond or the Pearl clans. To say nothing about how poorly the Galaxy team has treated you. But not to worry. There's still some corners of the Hisui region where we can stash you away in secret. I know a spot that would be the perfect hideaway. Leave it all up to me. Here we are. I know, it's no palace, but you know the saying about beggars and choosers. I do quite like the music of this little area, though, I will say. Speak to the person who dwells here at the retreat. Wait, another Cynthia? Shirking your work to come pester me again. Even behind a bleeding sky you never change. Always a pleasure, Mistress Kogita. But I'm afraid I'm not here today to learn more about Hisui's myths and legends. No, Mistress, thank you, just Kogita. And who is this? The stain that's found that you brought into my doorstep? Why, Stent is the man of the hour. He is the one who quelled the frenzy of all the Pokemon nobles, believe it or not. Ah, the poor wretch you spoke of, lost in time and space. Dear me, lost one, it seems I'll be able to fulfill my duty at long last, thanks to you. What kind of duty? Duty? This is only Metal Gear. Indeed, I am here to guide you, lost one. The task of preventing great disaster falls to you. The rift in space-time must be mended, lest time and space themselves be thrown out of balance. But come, you may enter my dear hideaway. There's much to be told. I think, however... Oh, cutscene, never mind. I was going to say, this seems like a good place to stop. The space-time rift is said to be a portal to innumerable other dimensions. In one such realm, far and farther still from us, dwells Almighty Sinnoh. The Pearl Clans. The Diamond and the Pearl Clans, The expanse from antiquity to eternity and the expanse of all sides above and below. Time traces the path we tread from here and now into the future, while space yawns all-encompassingly, surrounding us in every direction. You see, don't you? The two together, time and space, compromise all creation, the universe. How can one claim that either is greater than the other, as those two clans do? I will admit, despite this supposedly being like feudal Japan, everyone seems weirdly verbose and aware of all these crazy astral concepts. Well, obviously they're inseparable, that's just reality. Perhaps the truth is clearer to a wanderer such as you, one who has known other ages. Now listen, lost one, here is what you must do. Isui holds 3 lakes of great importance: Lake Verity, Lake Valor, and Lake Acuity. Each dwells a Pokemon said to embody one aspect of the mind. Complete the trials each one will set you, and bear their gifts to the Shrouded Ruins. Going all the way back there again, huh? There you may receive the Red Shade. Oh, remember the Red Shade, remember Diamond and Pearl. With it, perhaps you can bind the world together. Bind the world, you say? You mean it won't close the rift? Kindly spare me your doubts, young man. I know the old words and what they bid us to do. How true they are isn't mine to know, and regardless of their truth, I am bound to pass them on. How callous of my ancestors to leave their legends to their children without a thought for the hardship it would cause them. But here we are. You know your duty and you'll do it, won't you? I mean, obviously, I am a protagonist. There is no ability in knowing what must be done and seeing to it. Oh, got the phone again. Here you can see the 3 lakes marked. Are we finally going to get someone who points this out? No one points out the fact that I just have this weird future device. Mistress Kogita's got a lovely workbench here. And if you need materials, I'll be glad to... Oh, finally, he's being a merchant. I'm always happy to do business with you. What about the pastures? Ah, that's a problem, isn't it? What shall we do with that indeed? Abba. What was that cry? Do we now have a lost Pokemon as well as a lost child? Do see to it, please. How can I refuse you, ma'am? Off we go. Right, I think this is a good time for us to finally wrap up for the time being. Obviously, I'll put out a poll to see who we go with in order to help us in our quest, because I know that at the very least we get to choose who we complete these trials with. So I'll put out the poll, and next week we'll continue on with our Great Lake Faring adventure. But until then, I'll see you then. Take care. Bye-bye.